Hello and welcome. It's another edition of your program, Nimasa This Week. We have reports from a regional workshop on ballast water management. We shall also serve you news about reports from the International Maritime Bureau, which shows a decline in piracy attacks on Nigerian waters. The Global Maritime Security Conference is still in the news, and we have a fallout from that Abuja event. It's a wonderful package on Nimasa This Week. As usual, stay tuned. I am Frank Ido. We start today with the report from the International Maritime Bureau, who gave a verdict of sweet concerning piracy attacks in the Gulf of Guinea. Sweet because the report shows a decline of attacks on Nigerian waters. Have a look. The International Maritime Bureau, IMB, has reported a drop in piracy attacks in Nigeria in the third quarter of 2019. IMB said in its latest report, Nigeria has reduced piracy attacks from 41 in 2018 to 29 in 2019, which represents nearly 30% year-on-year reduction. The IMB commended the Nigerian Navy and NIMASA for collaborations, which has led to quick response to challenges of insecurity on Nigerian waters. The piracy reporting body also said there was a decrease in global piracy incidents during the first 9 months of 2019 compared with the corresponding period in 2018, in a fall to a 5-year low. Director of IMB, a specialized division of the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, Potengal Mukundan, said 119 incidents have been reported to the IMB Piracy Reporting Center in 2019 compared to 156 incidents for the same period in 2018. Overall, the 2019 incidents include 95 vessels boarded, 10 vessels fired upon, 10 attempted attacks, and 4 vessels hijacked. The number of crew taken hostage through the first 9 months has declined from 112 in 2018 to 49 in 2019. However, according to IMB, piracy and armed robbery attacks remain a challenge in the Gulf of Guinea. The decline in piracy and armed robbery attacks on vessels came as the Deep Blue Project, Nigeria's integrated security and waterways protection infrastructure, began to yield results. It involves the training of field and technical operatives drawn from the various arms of the security services and NIMASA, as well as acquisition of assets to combat maritime crime such as fast intervention, vessel surveillance, aircraft and other facilities, and establishment of a command and control center for data collection and information sharing to aid targeted enforcement. The Deep Blue Project aims at building a formidable integrated surveillance and security architecture that will broadly combat maritime crime and criminalities in Nigeria's waterways up to the Gulf of Guinea. The timing of the IMB report also coincides with the conclusion of the Global Maritime Security Conference GMSC 2019, hosted by Nigeria and coordinated by the Federal Ministry of Transportation and NIMASA under the theme Managing and Securing Our Waters.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. We are charting the direction for our maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are NIMASA. New face, rejuvenated service. NIMASA, changing the tides in your favor.
Well, it's nice to know that the efforts of the Nigerian maritime industry is not going unnoticed. The International Maritime Bureau has given us a metric for progress, and we are getting there. So congratulations to the Nigerian Navy and NIMASA for the efforts they put in the Gulf of Guinea. The management of NIMASA and the International Maritime Organization last week organized a regional workshop on ballast water management for Anglophone, West and Central African countries. The event took place in Lagos. The Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, reiterated Nigeria's commitment to the Ballast Water Management BWM Convention of 2004. The workshop had in attendance delegates from 9 countries. The Ballast Water Management Convention was adopted in 2004 to minimize the risk of species invasions through ballast water. The convention entered into force on September 8, 2017, and currently 81 countries have ratified it, including Nigeria, which was among the first 5 countries to endorse the treaty. So when the International Maritime Organization (IMO) and NIMASA organized the workshop on ballast water management in the West and Central Africa region, delegates from Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, Sao Tome and Principe, Ghana, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia and Liberia joined their counterparts from Nigeria for the workshop.
This is the overall take-home message, that there are several incentives for the vessel to get this right. We are looking at the transfer of marine organisms, we're looking at energy efficiency and stack emissions, and we're looking at the release of biocides into the environment. And they're each handled somewhat differently, but they each tie back to what is growing on the hull.
In his address at the gathering, the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, said the regional workshop is to support the timely and harmonized implementation of the convention in the West and Central African sub-region, with priority and emphasis on the ratification and implementation of the convention by member states. Dakuku disclosed that Nigeria, being among the earliest countries to ratify the convention, had taken steps to ensure its effective implementation.
Nigeria is totally committed to effective implementation of the ballast water regime in accordance with the new regulations. Your participation and contribution will greatly advance our collective efforts as a region to progress and better deal with the issues which will be dealt with at this workshop. Let me thank the IMO and her Technical Cooperation Program for her continuous interest in building capacity in the West and Central Africa region.
On his part, Secretary General of the IMO, Mr. Kitak Lim, who was represented by the Technical Officers Subdivision for Prospective Measures, Marine Environment Division, Dr. Megan Jensen, noted that the marine environment and marine resources were vital to the global economy and sustainable economic growth.
It is my hope that this workshop will greatly assist your countries in acceding to the convention and assist all participating countries in its implementation and enforcement. This will allow all participating countries to reap the benefits of this instrument to protect our marine environment. IMO will continue its strong support of your efforts of protecting the marine environment and will continue to lend its support and expertise in the years to come. It's widely acknowledged that the marine environment and marine resources are vital to the global economy and to our future and sustainable economic growth. From the goods that are transported by sea and the energy that comes from the oceans to the fish stocks that provide vital nutritional resources, the marine and coastal environments play a very important role in our everyday lives.
The workshop had in attendance delegates from Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, Sao Tome and Principe, Ghana, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia and Liberia.
I keep saying it, that when we sing the chorus together, the voice will be high, the chorus will really be high if we sing together, so that's what we are trying to do, and we are getting there.
From 27th to 30th October 2019, the Oil Trading and Logistics Africa Downstream Week will proceed in Lagos. Join leading operators and regulators at Africa's biggest business forum for downstream petroleum, featuring a strategic conference, showcase exhibition, networking receptions, and lots more. To register, visit otlafrica.com or call 070-4295-8915. OTL, Africa's downstream destination.
Welcome back. You're still on to Nimasa This Week. The Global Maritime Security Conference on Abuja 2019 is still the talking point across the globe. An implementation of the communique issued at the end of the event is now the focus. Remember that delegates from about 80 countries agreed to constitute a GMSC expert working group to drive the implementation of decisions arising from the gathering in liaison with ECOWAS, ECAS, ICC, and other international partners. The communique session, chaired by the Minister of State for Transportation, Senator Gbemisola Saraki, and read by the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, resolved.
Gulf of Guinea states and the international community should put mechanisms in place to ensure that resources that are illegally harvested/explored in the Gulf of Guinea, including stolen oil and illegal, unreported and unregulatory fishing, are intentionally banned, as was the case with blood diamonds.
The conference called for collaboration among the navies, coast guards, and maritime authorities of countries in the Gulf of Guinea and other continental and international maritime nations. It said countries in the Gulf of Guinea should intensify maritime capacity and infrastructure building efforts to push the objectives effectively. According to the communique, Gulf of Guinea states should explore the possibility of designated maritime courts to handle cases of sea robbery, piracy, and other maritime offenses to ensure quick dispensation of cases, in addition to capacity building and sensitization of judiciary on crucial relevant legislation.
For our partners from the other countries within the West and Central Africa particularly, and of course other international partners, talking about the navies and the coast guards, they are very, very happy with this forum because when we put it together in this form, I think it speaks more. It speaks more, so to speak, because it's not just a military endeavor, it's a military endeavor that is intricately tied to commerce, to business. And that's, I think it's beginning to come up that navies, not just Nigerian Navy, navies should be properly funded so that we can be able to deliver. Because if you do 90-80% of your business through water, then if you take a percentage of that and support your Navy or Coast Guard or whatever, that ensures security and on the other side to safety, I think you'll have been doing a world of good to that part of the business.
It further urged the Gulf of Guinea states to put more efforts to implement various agreed strategies at the continental, regional, and national levels. Gulf of Guinea states, with the support of regional organizations like the ECOWAS, ECAS, ICC, and relevant international organizations, should continue to ratify and fully domesticate the provisions of the relevant international conventions, including UNCLOS 1982, SUA, and Port State Measures Agreement.
We've been talking about the Gulf of Guinea, and there is this analogy I used to give when it comes to the Gulf of Guinea. Imagine a small river behind your house. That river does a lot. People pass through it, criminals pass through it, it's stinky, it's dirty. How do you feel? Not very good. The Gulf of Guinea to Nigeria and the countries along the coast is just like that river. You see that Atlantic Ocean? That region upwards is what we're talking about. How to keep it safe and good for all of us. For 3 days, he has been at the forefront, going up and down to make sure it works. The DG Nimasa, Dr. Dakuku Peterside. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations should be in order because finally here we are.
Thank you very much.
The planning had been on for so long, but eventually the day has come, it has gone. How do you feel?
I feel elated. There's a sense of satisfaction that indeed Africans and their international partners sat for 3 days, explored a lot of options, and indeed agreed on critical recommendations on the way to address the challenge of maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea and elsewhere in the world. I feel that indeed we have shown that we are responsible and we are responsive.
A lot of the people who came talked about the fact that piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, especially the end for Nigeria, has really reduced. And that means a lot of work has been put into that. What are you doing to even achieve more and to retain the achievement?
The fact that internationally it's acknowledged that there's a significant drop in maritime crime in the waters of the Gulf of Guinea and particularly Nigeria means that there's a lot of work going on. As a country, we are embarking on a number of initiatives, from creating a legal framework to the Deep Blue project, to acquisition of assets, to the training or capacity building of our law enforcement agencies, to the capacity building of our judiciary. We're taking on a number of initiatives to reduce and ultimately eliminate piracy and other maritime crime within our territorial waters, and it's beginning to yield results. So we intend to intensify efforts, deepen what we're doing, generate momentum, sustain momentum, and indeed ultimately for us, it's only when our waters are safe and secure that we can optimize the benefits of seaborne trade and the blue economy.
Now, you had 17 recommendations. You had training in them, collaboration, and other aspects that could make making the maritime sector safer, making the Gulf of Guinea safer. How do you intend to push this, that we have people buy in, that the Abuja declaration will not remain on paper the way a lot of declarations have remained on paper?
Abuja declaration will not remain on paper. We have stated how we intend to follow through with the implementation of the recommendations reached at the Abuja Global Maritime Security Conference. It was recommended by conference that we set up an experts working group that will involve our international partners, multilateral organizations, regional organizations. This experts working group will follow through with the implementations of recommendations arrived at Abuja. We have also gotten indication by our international partners that we're going to fund. We now know what the issues are. We're going to fund. We're willing to partner with you. We're ready to collaborate with you to fund some of these things. Our own responsibility is to draw attention to all centers of action to ensure that they begin to do something about the resolutions reached at Abuja. I want to reassure you that it will not be swept under the carpet. It will be fully implemented. We will support regional organizations. We will work with them. We will support states to ensure that it's implemented. It's actually their own decision. Mind you, delegates from 80 countries gathered in Abuja for a 3-day period to arrive at these decisions. They are not recommendations of the Nigerian government.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are NIMASA. New face, rejuvenated service. NIMASA, changing the tides in your favor.
Well, from the elements of this program, it shows you that maritime industry is moving forward and being recognized internationally for our efforts. So congratulations to NIMASA on all the stakeholders and the auxiliary help that has been put in place to burgeon our Nigerian maritime industry. Now, shows that hard work doesn't go unrewarded. Now, speaking about reward, we would like to remind you that the NIMASA Industry Award Night of 2019 is going to take place very soon, where players in the industry, stakeholders, and workers in the Nigerian maritime industry will be rewarded for their efforts in certain categories of the Nigerian maritime industry. That's going to take place. The one we had this year was a blast, and we're going to give you walk back in time and show you what really happened at that event and splatter it with a bit of entertainment while we hold our bated breath waiting for the next explosion of an awards night organized by NIMASA. My name is Frank Ido. We've come to the end of the program. I thank you enormously for watching. Whatever happens in 7 days, a lot can take place. But whatever does happen, we'll be here to tell you about it in the Nigerian maritime industry. This has been NIMASA This Week. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
The Employee of the Year 2018 is Segohi O. Abraham. Segohi O. Abraham. Where is he? Give him a round of applause. This is our Employee of the Year, our star staff, the star staff. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
How did it feel when you were announced the winner?
So wonderful. I feel highly elated, as I promised you during the last section that we had before now. To God be the glory.
Haji Alamitu Maka, how would you say it has gone? I've given birth. You know, the expectation when you are pregnant, anxiety, fear, all kinds of things run through your mind when you're pregnant. But after you've had the baby, in spite of the pain of labor, there is a joy that surpasses all understanding. This is what has happened today.
Listen now. Oh yeah, follow me, come and see my wifey, my beautiful baby, oh. See the way she looking so simple, original woman, an African lady, oh. And she too fine, yeah, chai. Mama love man so cool, baby na tomato just yo. And she too simple, she too humble, but I know I'm a man sorrow.